How's it going, everybody? In today's video, I wanted to go over 6 beginner programmer tips. These are things that I wish somebody would have told me when I first started out as a programmer or developer. This is stuff that I've kind of accumulated over the past 8 years as a professional web developer, and I wanted to kind of impart that on you guys, and hopefully you don't make some of the same mistakes that I did. So if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. I also wanted to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this episode. It is a place where they have over 20,000 courses of learning just about anything and everything. If you are interested in web development or freelancing, or you want to learn how to play the piano, or you want to do just about anything, they have a course for that, and the yearly membership equals out to about less than $10 a month. So I have a link in the description if that is something that you are interested in. If you click on it, you'd be supporting me and helping me continue to make videos for this channel. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first one that I want to talk about is I wish that I would have changed the way that I used online tutorials and courses. I think we can all agree that we are very lucky to have the resources that we do today. I 100% attribute my career to the people online who have shared their knowledge with me. But I think that I could have used it better, and I have a lot of knowledge and skills left on the table because of the way that I handled it. So the way that I would do it is I would go online to, Skillshare or Udemy or Pluralsight or whatever, or third-party instructors, and buy their course, watch their videos, do the project, check off the box, and move on to the next one. And that is only 2/3 of the process, looking back on it. I completely missed that what I should have done is after I had finished the course and, checked off that box or whatever, I should have sat down and created a brand new project out of what I had just learned. And what that does is that, number one, it solidifies the knowledge that you had just learned. Number two is it helps you encounter new problems that weren't existent in the course and helps you overcome that and increase what you can do inside that language or whatever. And then number three is now all of a sudden you have a portfolio piece that you can throw on your site, helping you get a job if you don't have one already, or help you advance in your current position, or get a better job with a new company. Or number four, it turns into something and all of a sudden you're starting to make income off of it. So I feel like after all those tutorials that I watched, I left so much on the table, and I could have had, that much more knowledge at my disposal, could have had that much more portfolio pieces, and have maybe that much more job opportunities in my career. So the second thing that I want to talk about is being okay with being uncomfortable. As developers and programmers, we are put into situations where we don't know entirely how to do the project at hand. If we're creating our own project and we need to authenticate and geolocate users, and that's something you've never done before and that makes you uncomfortable, well, that's a good thing. You're going to figure it out. You have the resources and the tools to do it. You will, and then you'll move on. That's all of a sudden going to be something that's comfortable for you now, and then you can move on to the next thing, and that's progress. You've just learned that. So if you're in a state right now where you're working on a project and you feel uncomfortable and you're not entirely sure how everything's going to fit together and stuff like that, embrace that and see that as something that is positive. Now, that's not to say to overwhelm yourself and put yourself in kind of a panic or anything like that, but being able to understand a healthy amount of discomfort and knowing that you are being challenged. And as long as you do that periodically and you're constantly challenging yourself, you're going to look back one day and you'll be really surprised about all of the progress that you've made. So the third thing that I want to talk about is setting goals and tracking your progress. As developers, we're constantly encouraged to learn new things and kind of broaden our horizons. We now all of a sudden have to wear more hats. The lines between front-end developer and back-end developer are more and more blurred. Then there's more technologies in each of those areas. And so one of the best ways to keep yourself on track is to set proper goals. Now, this video isn't really going to be about proper goal setting or anything like that, but as someone who has kind of done the Wild West and shotgun approach of just like, well, let me just learn everything, but not really keeping track of it, it can become a burden to not really know where you're at, nor have a structured path to get to where you want to be. And setting goals and then tracking where you're at with those and having constant check-ins with yourself is going to be the best path to get to where you want to be. So the next one that I want to talk about is being patient with your progress as a developer or programmer. I mean, we could open up Twitter right now and we can see people landing dream jobs, launching insane projects, making all sorts of money, all that kind of stuff. And it would be really easy to compare myself or yourself to those people. And that's why I kind of said goal setting is so important, is that we want to compare ourselves as we are currently to our past selves, not ourselves currently to other people, because those other people have done different things and they have different lives than us. And it's important to be patient with ourselves as we make our own journey as a developer. Just because somebody landed a job sooner than you does not necessarily make them a better programmer than you, or because, they've launched a project does that mean that you are never going to do that and you are incapable of doing it. It's just really important to kind of separate ourselves from others and track the progress that we are making in ourselves and being patient with that progress. The next one that I want to talk about is being super aware of when you are getting close to being burnt out. Being burnt out as a developer or programmer is extremely common. There's the pressures of outside that are trying to make you learn at 110% speed, and you have to learn all the things all the time. Well, finding a good work-life balance is going to be key to your success as a developer or programmer. Being able to know when to walk away from the computer and go do something else. That can be anything. That could even just be going and playing video games, or that can be working out, that can be hiking, that can be any sort of hobby that kind of gets you away from it. And it seems counterintuitive if something that's super important to me is becoming a good programmer, which it is. And so when I am faced with, oh man, I should be downstairs, I should be working on my YouTube channel, I should be working on my course, or I should be learning this new language or whatever, there is a kind of tipping point where you're kind of just working against the wall. You're trying to play tennis against the wall and you're going to lose because you've already expended so much energy just trying to just maximize your output that if in reality you were to tone it back a little bit more, the time that's spent during your learning time is going to be far more focused and productive. And so I would encourage every single one of you, especially if you're new, find something that you can do alongside of programming that's outside of it. Find yourself a hobby, and I promise you that you will find a better output overall in your learning time. All right, the last one that I want to touch on is experiment a lot with other facets of programming or developing. When I first started out, I thought I only wanted to do front-end web development, and that was going to be the thing I did forever. But turns out over time, I discovered new things about myself as I started actually being almost forced into other areas of development. There was a time where I was at an agency and I had to learn back-end development, and I had to learn how to spin up a server, and I had to do all these things. And turns out I actually really enjoyed kind of the DevOps side of things. And I really liked getting in and creating my own web server and jumping into all the workflow of from a local machine all the way up to production and all the steps in between. And I would have never really known that if I hadn't ever experimented with it. If I only ever just got hosting through some third-party company, I never would have found that out. So what I would say, especially if you're new, kind of cast a wide net about all the things that you want to learn. It's really easy just to go to Stack Overflow, look at the top, used languages and just be like, you know what, that's it. I mean, it could be a good place to start, but I would say that look at other items on that list, look at other things that might interest you, and just experiment with it. See what you like. You might be surprised about what you are passionate about. And most of the time, there's going to be somebody out there who will pay you to do that thing very well. So if you find out that you really like DevOps, then go for it. There's absolutely jobs to do that. If you really want to learn Python, if you really want to learn JavaScript, people absolutely pay you money to do that. So figure out what you want. And if you're passionate about it, you're going to excel and you're going to be a better programmer in that area for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is something that I've been wanting to make for a little while. If you have additional advice, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what your advice would be to your past self or beginner programmers. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one.